what has happened recently, and I say recently because we're talking about some of our history here, in the last 20 years, has been a organized movement to take those core values that we just heard about, to pull from our tradition. And the Coalition on the Environment and Jewish Life helps to make that connection for organizations throughout our community. And for many years, it was very, very focused inward on the Jewish community, helping our Jewish community to connect morally, to find the reasoning behind some of the teachings that we just heard about, and to figure out its relevance in their world today. And you're going to hear about that relevance as we go on. I know Nadine's going to tell you what car you should be buying tomorrow, not the day after, but tomorrow. There's some real relevance to what we're doing here today. And AJC, I should also thank them for bringing me here, does a phenomenal job of making that connection to some very serious present-day issues, that connection from our teachings to the reality that we live in today. COJL helps make that connection. We also do a number of other things, and some of them that are very important to many of you from other countries, and I'll get to that. But we work within the community with tree plantings, with beach cleanups, and a ton of different programmatic activities that shuls and synagogues and organizations such as B'nai B'rith or Hadassah or a school can go and take part in. And helping them to, again, make that connection with real-world activities. We help them to go down to the rivers in this city that are clogged with plastic. We help them through our Green Sanctuaries program to make sure that they implement sound environmental practices within their institutions. Now, we've just, Al again came out with a movie, and now all of a sudden we became overwhelmed. We can't meet the demand out there today. But we still, and we're working to try and build the infrastructure to help us to meet that demand, because these institutions are finding out. We did an audit of Sinai Temple some time ago, and we had the mayor come to announce this audit. Arden Realty donated the time and energy, pun intended, to develop this audit. That institution alone, not with solar, just environmentally looking at all of their energy use, could save $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
$40,000 a year. Now, people look at this differently. I'm a crunchy granola. Sometimes they think I'm going to be offended by this. But a board member leaned over and said, "Lee, morals schmorals, that's a lot of money. This is important." We're also involved, and I'll get back to the Green Sanctuaries piece in a minute. We're also involved in advocacy. The reality is that we need to promote change in our communities. And some of that means that we got to get out there and we have to advocate politically and socially and create change. We're involved in LA's Green Building Standards. We have a board member who's with the mayor right now in Israel talking about green issues, talking about how we can work together on business issues. I'm going to connect to that again in a minute and circle back. We are trying to make sure that when there is a critical issue of environmental importance, which is going to affect our communities, that we can walk in, and not just as a Jewish community, we walk in as an interfaith community. And I tell you, and it sounds like a bad joke, but when you walk in with a priest, a rabbi, and a cleric into a legislator's office, he doesn't quite know what to do with you. It's not the usual business crowd. So we're very effective in that kind of advocacy and education. We have a green business program. We have a number of other initiatives. We have a plastics program to try and encourage people not to be using as much plastic. Those bags that you received are part of that program. We encourage people to use those when they go shopping. So I hope that you don't think it's just for today, that you put it in your trunk, that you use it beyond today, and maybe pick up a few more. Because the plastics issue is a global issue. It's not just affecting one country or one community. It's affecting all of us. It's affecting our oceans in a very, very significant way. I hope that, I think this is a yearly program. I hope when I see this next year that I see everybody carrying their own bottles of water. It's a mindset that we change. Finally, I want to share with you two programs that directly, I think, impact a lot of what some of you might be doing for your own countries, with your own countries, in collaboration with the U.S. Because this isn't just a Jewish issue. Al Gore didn't just start the Coalition on the Environment in Jewish Life. It was Episcopalians, Catholics, Muslims, Baha'is coming together. And COJEL also has a program called our Interfaith Environmental Council. Nothing has brought communities together like issues surrounding the environment. It is something we all agree on. It is something that, well, maybe most countries in the world agree on, maybe are not our own, but we'll get there. It is a convening issue. It is a critical issue for all of us. So everything I talk about with COJEL, we actually work on in churches and mosques and synagogues. It's a critical component to what we do. And the other piece of what we do, which is very exciting, is our eco-technology development program. Israel, obviously a country other than the U.S. that we have very strong ties to, has significant environmental technologies coming out of that country, as do many others. And we work with Israel, and we work with a few other countries as well, to bring those environmental technologies to the U.S. To the tune of 2 years ago about 70 million, and the last year about 3 billion. This year we're looking to triple that number in hard contracts for companies from our countries. Now, I'm going tomorrow with President Clinton, I guess he's got nothing else to do now, to speak to a number of the two premiers from Austria and a number of companies and other folks to try and help them to work in the solar arena. It's also something I do professionally. We have the ability as environmentalists, as economists, as business people, to look beyond what my friend calls, and I proudly wear as a badge, the crunchy granola aspects of what we do environmentally, but also to think about how we can work together as different faiths, as different communities, and as different countries, and as residents of this whole world. There is a lot more that we can all do. I encourage you all to stay connected to AJC. They're a very close partner to COJEL. They get that. They get the economics of the issue in addition to the, again, crunchy granola aspects of the issue. And so that makes them an incredible partner. I'll end there. If we have any other questions later, I'm happy